James Logan Howlett is a mutant Caucasian male, standing 5'3" and weighing 250 pounds. He sports brown hair and brown eyes, usually wearing a white shirt, jeans, and a brown coat. Additionally, upon usage of his powers, he sports a pair of 3 adamantium claws sprouting from each hand. James Howlett's life began in a luxurious Howlett estate, located in Cold Lake, Alberta, Canada. The notably frail and ill child was born to Elizabeth Howlett, who was married to the mansion's owner, John Howlett. However, he was the illegitimate fruit of Elizabeth's affair with the Howlett's groundskeeper, the crass Thomas Logan. Although surrounded by the care of servants and the love of his father, John, James was largely neglected by his mother, who had been deeply traumatized following the death of his first son. Around the time, Rose O'Hara, a red-headed Irish girl, was admitted to work as his companion. He was close to Thomas Logan's mistreated son, who was nicknamed Dog. The 3 youngsters became good friends and shared happy moments in their childhood. Unfortunately, as they came of age, the abuse inflicted upon Dog by his father warped his mind. He made unwanted advances towards Rose, which James reported to his father. As John Howlett confronted him, Logan shot him in the head. James entered the room when the murder occurred and his mutation manifested. Bone claws extended from the backs of his hands, and he attacked the intruders with uncharacteristic ferocity, killing Logan and scarring Dog's face with 3 claw marks. With Rose's help, James fled the mansion where the tragedy took place. Dog informed John Howlett's father and the police that Rose was the one behind the deaths of the Howletts. The suspicious Mr. Howlett refused to acknowledge James as his blood, and provided money for the running duo in order to get rid of them as they ran away. As time passed, Logan's powers grew. He became stronger. His healing factor slowly removed the traumatic memories of his childhood. He accepted his feral nature and started to hunt with a pack of wolves. At some point before leaving Canada, Logan was pumped full of Thrazine, beaten, and kidnapped by a group of armed men from the Weapon X project, possibly under Romulus's orders. The men, only known as Professor Dr. Abraham Cornelius and Dr. Carol Hines, then began to examine Logan while he floated in a containment tank. Logan's skeleton, including his arms, were bonded with the indestructible metal known as adamantium, making it completely unbreakable and burying his personality beneath the most intense brainwashing he had ever undergone. Logan was then put under deep hypnosis, telling him that he was not a man or individual, and being a man disgusted him. Reduced to a near mindless state, Logan was apparently forced by Weapon X to slaughter every inhabitant of the small town of Roanoke as a test. Logan proved to be too difficult for the Weapon X program to control, and after some time he broke free of the programming, fell into a berserker rage, and escaped the facility, killing nearly everyone except for Dr. Cornelius, Dr. Hines, and Malcolm Corcord, who later became the director of the new Weapon X program. Unknown to Logan at the time, the Winter Soldier was apparently present and helped him escape from his captors. As a result of having his bones and claws laced with adamantium, Wolverine's natural mutation, which was slowly turning him feral, was put into remission, as the adamantium precipitated a chemical change within his body. As a result of the experiment impeding his natural evolution, Wolverine's healing factor was weakened, and he was healed slower than before. Wandering in the woods, Logan was eventually discovered by Heather and James Hudson, a young couple honeymooning on the Rockies, whom he attacked, only to be shot by James. While he was recovering, Logan regained enough of his human persona to be horrified at his claws, believing them to be artificial implants. After recovering his mental faculties with the Hudson's help, Logan became a member of Canada's Department H, the superhuman-oriented government agency. Over the years, Logan would meet Charles Xavier and join his superhero team known as the X-Men. Eventually, Logan would brush hands with the Avengers, the Defenders, and various other superhero teams, getting to know quite a lot of people in the superhero community. Eventually, he would even leave to join a new group, a large organization of mutant mercenaries known as Department X. Wolverine is a gruff loner who had a strong sense of personal honor. He also had a wild, animal-like nature to him and a savage or berserker rage, which he tried to control. He is also perfectly at home in the wilderness. He is known as one of the most fearless, brave, and dangerous men in the world, stated by Steve Rogers. Wolverine had established himself quickly in the X-Men, most willing to permanently deal with their adversaries. He developed close friendships with his teammates Nightcrawler, which personally diametrically opposed Wolverine's values, and Colossus, who often performed the fastball special with him. He was something of a father figure to Shadowcat, Rogue, Black Widow, X-23, and Jubilee. He loved many women, including Rose, Itsu, Viper, Silver Fox, the Phoenix, and Mariko. There are only a few people that Wolverine trusted truly, which are Captain America, Nick Fury, Jean Grey, and Spider-Man. Wolverine is considered a Tier 3 or Alpha-level mutant on the Shield Files mutant ranking scale. Wolverine is a master of almost every martial art on Earth. Several of them include boxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Kenpo, Karate, Taekwondo, and Sistema. However, despite being such a proficient martial artist, Wolverine prefers to go with a more hack-and-slash approach. Due to being a soldier and former mercenary, Wolverine has been trained in almost every weapon, whether that be swords, guns, knives, or just hand-to-hand combat. He also is very knowledgeable of explosives, tanks, and other various machines that create explosive energy. Something to note here for future entries. Most superhumans possess superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman stamina, reflexes, and durability. However, a lot of them vary in strength and viability, so I will be talking about all of them and their different levels of strength. So they're not always the same thing, so please don't skip the section. Due to Wolverine's reinforced skeleton, he is able to lift significantly more than he could on average. He can lift easily over 800 pounds. However, his maximum strength has been recorded at a whopping 2 tons. Wolverine is capable at traveling at low-level super speed. He was able to move faster than the human eye could track, and even Spider-Man thought that he may have been faster in their first fight. However, Wolverine can only truly run up to a speed of 90 miles per hour. However, during combat, his speed may be a bit faster, as he's been known to speed blitz multiple groups of armed attackers. Wolverine's healing factor allows him to have a reduced amount of fatigue toxins in his body. This allows him to operate for several hours to possibly even days at peak capacity before fully getting tired. One of Wolverine's mutant abilities is the power to sense animal emotions. He can sense whether or not animals are afraid, happy, sad, or disgusted by a food that they're eating or just by a visual sight. He can also somewhat tell what they are thinking and even communicate with them in some weird way. One of Wolverine's more useful powers is his superhuman senses. Due to his animalistic nature, he is capable of hearing things from miles away, as well as smelling. He can smell much better than that of a bloodhound or wolf, and can hear things more impressive than someone like Daredevil even. The main mutation of Wolverine's body is several long spikes coming out of his knuckles, called bone claws. These claws are retractable and can extend and de-extend at any point that Wolverine chooses to. These claws can slash through wood, people, and many other hard surfaces. However, they were breakable, but due to his regenerative healing factor, they were able to regrow. Later on, these claws were augmented into adamantium claws. At this point, his claws, as well as his entire skeleton, became completely indestructible. If Wolverine were to be atomized and all of his body were to be destroyed, his skeleton would still remain, regardless of any damage taken to him. Wolverine's body naturally regenerates most, if not all, damaged or destroyed tissues and organs at a rate which exceeds that of any normal human. The rate of regeneration is proportional to the damage caused. This process is automatic, and Wolverine seems to have no control over it. His healing factor, however, does not seem to stop Wolverine from feeling the pain of his wounds, nor the pain of his body regenerating itself. The speed at which he heals has fluctuated considerably in recent years. After first losing his adamantium powers, Wolverine's healing factor recovered and increased to a far level above his previous norm. Another important fact is that Wolverine's healing factor and those of similar healing factor have a particular quality in how they work. For James, his children, and other animalistic mutants with healing factors, the healing ability focuses on the most life-threatening injuries or problems and then moves on to lesser injuries. Despite being a great strength, Wolverine's heightened senses are also an issue against certain opponents. His sensory powers can be taken advantage of. This happened when, in his fight with the Hulk used his powerful thunderclap, which, due to the shocking power waves of his loud smack, Wolverine was almost killed. This may seem like common sense, but a lot of people don't know this. You can't regenerate oxygen. So, say hypothetically Wolverine was being drowned or strangled. If he ran out of breath and didn't have the ability to sustain more oxygen, he would die, and he couldn't get it back. Now, this one's a bit more long-term to look at, but over time, the adamantium in Wolverine's skeleton will gradually kill him, because adamantium is a highly radioactive material that, as we talked about earlier, slowed his healing factor. So gradually over time, due to the adamantium poisoning his system, he will eventually die, because he will no longer have the ability to regenerate any cells in his body. Carbonadium is another radioactive supermetal, much like that of vibranium and adamantium. However, this metal is typically referred to as an anti-metal because of its degradation properties. Carbonadium has a very strong radioactive ability that can damage and even kill genes of the X gene healing factor. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Shield Files, where we talked about the first mutant, Wolverine. Stay tuned for next week when we talk about a mystery character that I am yet to reveal, but we think you'll enjoy quite a lot. Alright, see you all later, and Excelsior!